right. Okay. Avos. Hey, Yud Aleph. There are four types of natures. One who is easy to anger and easy to appease. His reward is offset by his loss. One who is difficult to anger and difficult to appease. His loss, his loss is offset by his reward. One who is difficult to anger and easy to appease is a pious person, and one who is easy to anger and difficult to appease is a wicked person. There are four types of students. One who is quick to grasp and quick to lose, his reward is offset by his loss. One who is slow to grasp and slow to lose, his loss is offset by his reward. One who is quick to grasp and slow to lose, a wise person. One who is slow to grasp and quick to lose, this is a bad lot. There are four types of charitable donors. One who desires that he will give, but others should not give, looks disparagingly at the money of others. One who desires that others should give, but he will not give. He is stingy with his own money. One who desires that he will give and others should give is a pious person. And one who desires that he will not give and others should not give is a wicked person. There are four types of people who go to the
now it's me.
That was three, right?
Yeah, that was three. Okay. So, Arba Midos Behol Chela Beis Midrash. There are four characteristics of those who go to the Beis Midrash, and it's an interesting start because we'll see that one of them doesn't even go, or two of them actually don't even go. Holech ve'eino ose, a guy who goes to the Beis Midrash but doesn't do anything there. Schar halicha biyado. Okay, so he gets the schar halicha. It was actually there was an interesting story. I think it was a true story of a Rav who used to give a shiur at night after work, and he had one balabais who used to come every night, and every night he would fall asleep in the shiur. And after this pattern repeated itself several times, he went to the balabait and said, "Look, I'm very happy that you come to my shiur, but I mean, if you're tired and whatever, and it's not working for you, why do you come if you fall asleep every time?" And he says, "The truth is, you're right. I come home from work and I'm absolutely finished, but I want my children to see that I'm coming to shiur."
That's good. That's good.
Good one. He said that's schar halicha biyado.
I don't fall asleep though. You notice that.
Yeah. Here's a guy who learns at home, doesn't go to Beis Midrash. Okay, schar ma'aseh biyado. Well done, kol hakavod. You're learning, even though it's not in the Beis Midrash. It's better to go to a Beis Midrash because that's a makom Torah, and your learning is typically better when you're in a place that's dedicated to learning. And honestly, I'll say that on ourselves over here, just taking the lekach over here, is that it's nice and it's convenient for us to have these things on Zoom because it also makes it easy to record and it's comfortable and whatever. But I know in myself that I'm sitting at my computer and something pops up on my screen over there. I'm looking and saying, "Oh, did somebody send me a message?" and whatever, and I get distracted. Whereas if we're sitting in the Beis Midrash and it's just one-on-one, and the only thing that's around us is other people learning, how am I going to get distracted? Right. So when you're in a place that your surroundings make a difference. When you're in a place where the thing is to learn Torah, that's what you do. Anyway, holech ve'oseh chassid, one who goes to the Beis Midrash and learns there is a chassid. Now, when we use the word chassid as something who goes over and above and beyond the call of duty. And that's and the above and beyond the call of duty is really because you could have done everything you needed to just by staying home and learning, but getting up and going to shul and learning is that's the midas chasidus. Lo holech v'lo oseh rasha. Somebody who doesn't get up, doesn't go, doesn't do. He's removed himself from the klal. He's mezalzel b'divrei Torah, says Gehati, and that's the and that's not that's the Rasha. Okay. Mishna Tesvav. Arba midos biyoshvei lifnei chachamim. So there are four characteristics. Now, up until now, we've always had this matrix of 2 by 2. We have so that's why it's been fours. Now this 4 over here is simply 4 different characteristics of people who learn. A svog, okay, the sponge, mashpech. Then the mashpech is a funnel. A mashmeres is they translate it as a sifter and a sieve, and a nafa is a sifter.
A strainer here.
A strainer and a sifter. And I'm not sure what the difference is between a strainer and a sifter. I don't have a good picture in my head as to what the difference is, but we'll see. We'll dive into that a little bit further. Sfog is the sponge. Sofeges hakol. He absorbs everything. And we don't want to bring, Rabbi Eliezer is called the Borsud, the cistern who remembers everything. That was just in his incredible memory, but we don't want to call him a Sfog because the Sfog also absorbs all of the irrelevant detail. You take a sponge to your kitchen floor and it soaks up the water and it soaks up the dreck and whatever. So it's good that he absorbs everything, but he's not differentiating between what's ikar and what's tafel. Mashpech, the final nebuch machnis bazo umotzi bazo, in one ear and out the other. Okay, he's the opposite. I suppose it is actually a matrix now that I think about it. There's what comes in and what goes out. So the mashpech. So this fog says everything comes in and nothing goes out, and the funnel is everything goes in and everything goes out. Okay, and then there's the mashmeres shemotzia es hayayin v'koletes es hashmarim. Okay, so inside this strainer, you pour through your wine from the vat, and it's supposed to catch the dregs inside it and let the wine through to the bottom. Okay, so what's left in the kli? It's everything goes in, and what comes out is the good stuff goes out, and he just remembers the irrelevant detail. So that is unfortunate. He spends all his effort learning and just absorbs, gets sidetracked by the irrelevancies and doesn't remember the important stuff. The nafa and the sifter shemotzia es hakemach v'koletes es hasoles, that removes the coarse dust and absorbs and keeps the solis, the fine flour. And honestly, I have no idea what this kli looks like. One that removes the bad stuff and holds in it the good stuff. I mean, because normally kemach would be coarser than soles. So I don't actually know what that kli looks like.
Or maybe the sieve had smaller holes.
But even if it has smaller holes, the fact is that how is that different from the strainer before? Because it's still going to hold the waste and let through the good stuff to the bottom. I mean, that's typically your way of sifting things. And I cannot imagine what the kli is that does that. Does ArtScroll actually explain what this nafe is? Because I don't actually understand how it works.
I'm looking at it. I don't see that described in that kind of way.
Actually, I see Kahati has got a comment over here which I missed earlier. Let me just see this again.
Oh, it says here the sieve is the opposite of the strainer, since it keeps back the fine flour, while returning the bad, the flour and dust. There are some students who are capable of filtering their knowledge like the strainer, but then withhold the important concepts and impart them, which is immaterial.
Here we go. Yes, right. Carry on.
The Tefera Sister Ale says that goes to the funnel. The funnel is better than the sponge, and the strainer is better than the sieve.
Yeah. Okay. So here, Bartanura explains. So after the wheat is ground and the bran is removed, there remains a powder-like flour and a coarser meal, of which the latter is the superior value. So that's passed through the very fine sieve, removing the finer particles, which is a kind of a white dust. So the coarser and more valuable meal remains. So that is the case. So my assumption was that the finer stuff was the better stuff, but what Bartanura is explaining over there is that the fine stuff is the dust, which is not as valuable. Okay, so fine. Now that becomes a little clearer. Okay. Kol ahava shehi teluya b'davar. Any love that is dependent on something. Batel davar batela ava. So once the thing is removed, then there's no more. Then there's no more love. But she'ena teluya b'davar, and an unconditional love, eina batela leolam, will never be nullified. Ezahi ahava hateluya b'davar. So what's an example of this dependent love? Zo ahavas Amnon v'Samar. So Amnon you know the story of Amnon and Tamar. He was the son of King David, and he became infatuated with his sister, who's really his adoptive sister. Apparently, Tamar was not his biological sister. But he became infatuated with her, and that's probably a better word than in love with her. And as soon as he'd had his way with her, he raped her, and as soon as he had his way with her, he hated her, and that was the end of it. That was the end of this infatuation he had with her. And the classic case of an unconditional love. So Avas David v'Yonatan. So David and Jonathan had this incredible love between them, and there was nothing that could break that love, even when Jonathan's father was trying to break them apart. There was nothing that could separate between them. Okay. Back to Daled Yud Beis.
Okay, here we go. Rev Elazar ben Shamu says, "Let the honor of your student be as dear to you as your own, and the honor of your colleague as the reverence for your teacher, and the reverence for your teacher as the reverence for heaven." Reb Yehuda says, "Be meticulous in study, for a careless misinterpretation is considered tantamount to willful transgression." And the Reb Shimon says there are three crowns: the crown of Torah, the crown of priesthood, and the crown of kingship. But the crown of a good name surpasses all of them. And the Ore says, exile yourself to a place of Torah, and do not assume that it will come after you, or that your colleagues will cause you to remain, and do not rely on your own understanding. Okay.
Okay.
What is that?
Mm-hmm.
One should not sit in the shade, but if he sat, he remains sahor. He should not pass under it, and if he did pass, he is tameh. If he encroached upon the public and one passed beneath it, he's sahor. If it is permitted to plant vegetables beneath it in the winter, but not in the summer, and lettuce neither in the summer nor in the winter. If Yossi says he may not plant vegetables even in the winter because the foliage falls upon them and upon fertilizer for them. If he took pieces of wood from it, they are prohibited for benefit, and if they fired an oven with them, it is a new one. It must be shattered. If it is an old one, it must be allowed to cool. If he baked bread in it, it is prohibited for benefit. If he mixed with others, they are all prohibited for benefit. Eliezer says he should cast the equivalent benefit to the Dead Sea, and they said to him, there is no redemption for idolatrous objects. If he took a shuttle from it, it is prohibited for benefit. If he wove a garment with it, the garment is prohibited for benefit. If it became mixed with others, and the others were still others, they are prohibited for benefit. And Eliezer says he should cast the equivalent benefit to the Dead Sea, and they said to him, there is no redemption for idolatrous objects. How does he nullify it? If he pruned it, or trimmed it, or he took a stick from it, or a twig, even a leaf, it is nullified. If he shaved chips for his own needs, he remains prohibited. Not for his own needs, it becomes permitted.
Right. Okay. Baba Basra.
Okay. Gimel. We may write a get for a man even though his wife is not with him, and a receipt for a woman even though her husband is not with her, provided that we recognize them and the husband pays the fee. We may write a document for a borrower even though a lender is not with him, but we do not write for a lender unless the borrower is with him and the borrower pays the fee. We may write a document for a seller even though the buyer is not with him, but we do not write for a buyer unless the seller is with him and the buyer, pays the fee. We do not write documents of betrothal and marriage except with the knowledge of both parties, and the groom pays the fee. We do not write a sharecropping contract or a rental contract except with the knowledge of both parties, and the tenant pays the fee. We do not write documents of designation or any court judgments except with the knowledge of both parties, and they both share in the fee. Shimon ben Gamil says the two of them write two documents, one for each party. One who paid part of his debt and gave his loan document to a third party and said to him, if I do not pay you between now and such a day, give him his loan document. If the time came and he did not pay, Reb Yossi says he should give the document, and Reb Yehuda says he should not give it.
Okay.
Okay, we have Yevamot. Rabbi Akiva says, when I went down to the Hardia to fix the leap year, I encountered the Chami of Beis Delhi. He said to me, I've heard that in Eretz Israel they do not permit a woman to remarry by the testimony of a single witness, except for Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava. I said to him, this is correct. And he said to me, tell them in my name, you know that the country is in turmoil because of ravaging troops. I have a tradition from Rabbi Gamliel, the elder, that we permit a woman to remarry by the testimony of a single witness. And when I came and presented the matter before Rabbi Gamliel, he rejoiced at my words and said, you have found a companion for Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava. As a result of the exchange, Rabbi Gamliel recalled that some men had once been killed in Tel Arza, and Rabbi Gamliel, the elder, had permitted their wives to remarry on the testimony of a single witness. It then became established to permit remarriage on the testimony of a single witness, and it became established to permit remarriage on the testimony of one witness quoting another, and on testimony of a slave, a woman, and a slave woman. Reb Eliezer and Reb Yeshua said, we do not permit a woman to be married by the testimony of a single witness. Reb Akiva says, not by the testimony of a woman, a slave woman, or relatives. They said to him, there was once an incident where some Levium journeyed to Zoar, the city of date palms, and one of them fell ill during the journey, and they brought him to an inn. On their return trip, they said to the woman innkeeper, where is our companion? And she said to him, he died, and I buried him. And they bid the wife to remarry. They said to him, shouldn't the wife of a Kohen be as good as the woman innkeeper? He replied, when the woman innkeeper believed, the woman innkeeper brought out to them his staff, his baggage, and the Torah scroll in his possession.
Okay. And on to Kasubos.
I took out Kedushin.
Oops. Okay, I'll wait for you.
On Thursday. A virgin is married on Wednesday and a widow on Thursday. For twice a week, the courts are in session in the towns. On Mondays and Thursdays, and so that if they had a claim concerning her virginity, he would go early the next morning to court. The leader, the kasuba of a virgin is 200 zuz, and that of a widow is 100. A virgin who is a widow, divorcee, or had performed chalitza after Erison, in all these cases, the kasuba is 200, and a claim concerning the virginity can be lodged against them.
Okay. No, that's if we just did two, because we did one in Nibamas.
Wait, there's another part to it though. There's another section.
Sorry, did I skip it?
Yeah, a proselyte, a captive, or a slave,
you're right,
or emancipated under the age of 3, and one day their ketubah is 200 zuz, and a claim concerning their virginity can be lodged against them.
Right. Okay. Sorry about that.
And here we are. If Meiser or Meiser, I'm sorry, the Meiser, but said Truma Ola, but said Shlomin, and said, but said Ola, that I shall not go into this house. But he said, into that one, then I shall not derive benefit from this one. But he said that one, he has said nothing until his mouth and heart agree. A non-Jew of Husin, there are 3 ways is Truma, but a Meiser is Meiser, and the halal things are holy. Rabbi Yehuda says that Karen Ravai does not apply to a non-Jew, but the comments say it applies. The Truma of a non-Jew renders Meduma and is liable to the added fifth, but Reb Shimon exempts. If one separates part of Truma and Meiser, he may take from it Truma for it, but not for another place. Reb Meir says he may take Truma and Meiser also for another place.
Okay. Ohalos.
Okay. Dalet Aleph. If a cabinet is standing in the open air and has Truma inside it, the utensils inside the sides remain tahor. If Truma is inside the sides, the utensils inside the cabinet remain tahor. Rabbi Yossi says half and half. If the cabinet is standing inside a house and Truma is inside the cabinet, the house becomes tameh. If Truma is inside the house, whatever is inside the cabinet remains tahor, because it is in the way of the Truma to exit, but not in the way of the Truma to enter. In a case between the cabinet and either the ground, the wall, or the ceiling beams, if there is a space of 1 handbreadth, they are tameh, and if not, they are tahor. If Truma is there, the house becomes tameh. A drawer of a cabinet contains a cubic handbreadth of empty space and has an opening smaller than a square handbreadth. If there is Truma inside the drawer, the house becomes tameh, and if there is Truma inside the house, whatever is inside the drawer remains tahor, because it is the way of the Truma to exit, but not the way of the Truma to enter. Rabbi Yossi rules the house tahor, but one can remove the Truma in halves and burn it in its place. The cabinet is standing in the doorway open to the outside, and there is Truma inside the cabinet remains tahor. If there is Truma inside the house, whatever is inside the cabinet becomes tameh, because it is the way of the Truma to exit, but is not the way of the Truma to enter. If its wheel extends no more than 3 fingerbreadths beyond the basket and the wheel contains truma, it is beneath the ceiling beams of the house remains tahor. When does this ruling apply? When there is space of hand the wheel, and the wheel is not removable, and the cabinet is large. Okay.
Ad kan.
So, Mr. Shem, you are leaving tonight.